The TV show Bojack Horseman changed how people see depression, addiction, and asexuality. Although I have bipolar disorder, I consider unipolar depression to be a separate thing. Thus, I do not want to speak about a mental disorder that I do not have. I also have never struggled with addiction. I will not be covering that in this video for the same reasons. However, I am asexual, so I can speak on this topic. Bojack Horseman presented asexuality to a larger audience in a funny, lighthearted way. People tend to think that we are lying, sick, or dead. That was a subtle reference to House. Todd Chavez, the asexual character from Bojack Horseman, is definitely not lying. At least this is not the impression we get from his character. He seems too lighthearted and funny to be capable of lying. Todd is definitely not sick. Todd is able-bodied and isn't portrayed as having any mental illness in the show. He also gets up to far too many shenanigans to be sick, according to society's perceptions of disability. Todd is also not a zombie at this time, although some may consider him deficient in brains. However, he got the point across. His story arc is very significant too. The episode where he goes out with an asexual woman, and they find out they have nothing in common besides both being asexual, is a very powerful episode because people don't consider that possibility enough. People tend to think that for minority sexualities, if two of them meet, it will automatically be happily ever after. This episode taught people that this is not necessarily so. As a longtime member of AVEN, the Asexuals Visibility and Education Network, I have heard that quite a few people come to AVEN via Bojack. I have yet to see an introduction post where the new person is like, hey, I was watching Bojack Horseman and the character Todd sounds a bit like me. However, people that are already in the community reference Bojack sometimes. We appreciate the good, careful representation that the characters gave us. Yes, it was Asexuality 101, but you can't have everything in life. Bojack connects us in the sense that it combats ignorance about asexuality. I am actually a media creator myself. I write books that I self-publish, and a lot of those books deal with asexuality or the broader LGBT community in some manner. Yes, very few people read these books, but I feel it still counts. Asexuals are a community in dire need of representation, and we need more shows like Bojack Horseman. We also need more Todd Chavezes, as silly as they may be. At least they are not the stereotypical lying or traumatized characters you see elsewhere. Does anyone remember the House episode about asexuality? There is an episode where a woman brings in her husband, who has no interest in sex. The woman claims not to either, and they claim to enjoy a happy if sexless marriage. It later turns out that the man has a brain tumor, and the wife was lying for her husband's benefit. At the end of the episode, the wife and husband start having a happy, normal marriage, and House is happy that he can deprive them of their bizarre ways. This isn't just bad representation. This is how society sees asexual people. These sorts of stories divide us. They divide asexual people from loved ones who hold these views, and in the case that this gets internalized, they divide us from ourselves. That's why representation like Bojack is so important. Todd Chavez is not broken or alone. Neither are we.